What up YouTube? My name is Carly Fries, and today I am filming my first book related video in the new apartment. It sounds echoey. We have a new setup here, clearly. First of all, this is a brand new bookcase because in the last apartment, it actually wasn't our bookcase, it came with the apartment. And so as you can see, we are missing that like little middle section that just had like my pygmy puff and nothing else on it. So yeah, we just went out to IKEA and picked out our own bookcase, which is basically the same bookcase that we had, minus that middle thing. And yeah, I DIY'd these like vine looking things. I hot glued them on the sides of the bookcase so it looks all like ivy-like, and it reminds me of like libraries, like old style libraries where like the outsides of the buildings have like ivy and stuff on it. Enough about the bookcase, this is about the books. So yeah, this video is about the books that I read in the month of July, and honestly I am super surprised that I was able to read as many books as I did because we just moved into a new place. I've been constantly like organizing, decorating, and making it look exactly the way I want it to look, and somehow I managed to read 6 books this month. And they're all not standalone books. Most of them are just books in a part of a series, but I didn't read like multiple books in one series. All of these books, none of these books have anything to do with each other. This was a very good reading month for me, and let's just get into those books that I did read in July. The first book that I read at the beginning of the month was Grit by Gillian, and this is the book that I got in my June bookish box. It was the Mean Girls themed one, because this book is basically about rumors and stuff, and it's very unlike most books that I read in that it does fall into the young adult category, but the way it's written is very like, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's set in the South, and it is the first person, right? Yeah, it's in the first person narrative, so you get like a very Southern narrative, and like the dialogue is very different from what I'm used to, because I don't read a lot of like contemporary books that are just, you know, I don't read a lot of contemporary books like this, but it was very refreshing. It was a very refreshing like break from the usual kind of stuff that I read, and I really actually did enjoy this, and since it is very thin, it didn't take me all that long to read. Yeah, I definitely would be willing to pick up another book from Gillian in the future. So the second book that I read in July is actually one of the 2 books that I received in the last Owl Crate box that I got, and that is New World Rising by Jennifer Wilson. Basically about a girl who lives in like a post-apocalyptic world where the streets are run by these gangs of bad guys. It's safe for her to travel like on the rooftops and like little hiding spots, but then she finds out that there's like this other faction of people who are trying to overthrow the way things are run, and she becomes part of that society. Turns out this is the first book in a series, and since this is a very recent release, I'm not sure when the next one's gonna come out. I didn't super enjoy it, like it was not compelling, it was just kind of like meh, like it was like a 3-star out of 5-star kind of book. But I mean, if I notice that the new book comes out, I will definitely read it. I don't know that I will buy it, but if I see it online and I'm able to read it, then I will do so. The other book that I received with that Owl Crate was the Sandcastle Empire by Kayla Olson, which I read right after reading New World Rising, and this one is way better. From like the writing to the story itself. It self-describes itself as like the Maze Runner meets Lost. I can definitely see that connection because it's about this girl who's living in this really repressive society run by these bad guys, very similarly to the other book, which is why they were both included in the same box, obviously. And basically she's able to escape that world with a couple of other strangers on a boat, and they get to this island that is supposedly supposed to be like this like this refuge that doesn't go by the rules of their current society, but when they get to the island there's a whole bunch of weird things that happen, like kind of in the same vein as Lost, and the main character has to figure out what the hell exactly is going on. And basically this is also the first book in a new series, and I don't know when this one's coming out, but I will definitely be looking out for the next book in this series, because it's not I didn't love it, but I was definitely compelled enough to want to know what happens next in this story. Next up is something that until a month ago I didn't even know was a thing, and that is Generation 1 by Pittacus Lore. And it is the first book in a spin-off series to the Lore and Legacies series. Like, I didn't even know this was happening, and then I found out and I was like, yes, please, because Lore and Legacies, like, that book series went on forever. Like, can you see it here? Okay, so like it basically starts here, and then like here's like a whole, like there's a whole bunch of like, there's like 5 like collections of novellas like alone in that series, and like it's so good. The original series, there are these aliens that are brought off of their planet as it is being destroyed to Earth, and they're protected until they come of age and they develop their own powers so that they're able to defeat a bad race of aliens. Just like if you haven't read the first series, it's a little bit of a spoiler. If you don't want to hear it, then, you know, skip maybe 20 seconds ahead of this. At the end of the series, there are humans who start to develop powers as well, to be able to also join in to defeat the aliens. And this book series is about how 1 year in the future they create this school for people to go to who have these powers, to kind of hone their abilities to be able to fight people who've developed their abilities for gone bad. There are some characters in this book that were also in the last series, the last couple of books, and that's really cool to see them return and to continue the story with them. But there are also some new characters, and it's really, really good, as always, because Pittacus Lore, like, his books are just so, like, he makes characters that you just like. The 5th book that I read in July was the 3rd and final book in the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy, which is called Always and Forever Lara Jean by Jenny Han. And I love me a good Jenny Han book. She is so good at writing good, like, contemporary, like, young adult romances. And this trilogy is just such a good, cute love story. I'm really happy with how it ended. It didn't try and take the easy way out, but there is still an ending that the viewers are going to be satisfied with. So good job, Jenny, on completing this series. And last but not least this month is Alex and Eliza by Melissa de la Cruz. And I don't think I've ever read anything by her before, but when I found out that Alex and Eliza was going to be a thing, I was like, well, obviously I have to read it. Because basically this is the story of Alexander Hamilton and Eliza Elizabeth Schuyler. Anybody knows about Hamilton, the musical, and because of that people are becoming more aware of American history, because, you know, I didn't know anything until listening to the Hamilton soundtrack. Like, John Adams who? Thomas Jefferson, what did he do again? Like, I didn't know anything, and after listening to that play I am so much more educated. But I just love that musical. I love these historical figures, obviously the way that Lin-Manuel Miranda writes them and reimagines them. I really want to read the biography of Hamilton, eventually, the one that Lin-Manuel read while coming up with the concept for the musical. But basically, I'm just obsessed with anything that has to do with the Schuylers or Hamilton or like anything, so this book was made for me. Well, no, this book was definitely made for people who love Hamilton, because Melissa de la Cruz was obviously like, I'm gonna like milk this cat, like everyone's obsessed with them, I'm gonna write a book about it. I'm sure that's not the only reason. I'm sure she herself, I think she said she was really interested and captivated by the play, and that's why she wanted to explore the characters too. So, I mean, who wouldn't? But yeah, basically this is like a young adult version of how Alex and Eliza met. Proceeded to fall in love, and it's, you know, it's not, she doesn't dumb it down, not that young adult books are dumb, but like she doesn't, like, she makes it into a young adult story, but she doesn't like lose the language of that time. It is very like 18th century kind of like writing, which I'm really glad that you kept in because I love that. I loved this with all of my Hamilton love and heart. And yeah, that is all that that's those are the books that I read this month. I'm not sure what I'm going to be reading next. Just kidding, that's not true. I'm reading Everything. I can't remember who writes that, but there's that movie that came out and I want to read the book so I can watch the movie. And then after that, I'm probably going to tackle a couple of like series books because there's a couple on here that I haven't read yet. So we'll see what I decide to do. But yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below what books you read in the month of July, or if you read any of these books, what did you think of them? Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.